When thinking of teams that have been in the news cycle for the wrong reason in the NBA over the last few years, there's no team that comes to mind more often than the New Orleans Pelicans. With having two generational talents that clearly want out of their franchise in the past 4 years alone, with having their third head coach in as many years, a front office that is objectively not faced in truth, a GM that is made fun of by people in his own organization and throughout the league, there is a lot of problems that are facing the New Orleans Pelicans right now. Let's face it, it's a shit show. And today in this video, we're going to be talking about the 3 biggest problems facing the New Orleans Pelicans, and I will give you a free hint. A lot of it has to do with David Griffin and Zion Williamson. So with that, let's hop into this video. But first, if you like NBA content, if you've liked what you've seen on this channel so far, from Half Court, we talk all things NBA basketball. So be sure to click subscribe and to like the video as well. Both are 100% free, don't take a lot of effort, and it is the easiest way to make sure that you keep getting notifications and see what's happening on this channel. This is a channel that's all about hoops, and it is by fans for fans. Really would love to build an awesome community here. And with that, let's get right into the video. So the first problem that's plaguing the New Orleans Pelicans is by far their biggest problem, and it is the fact that they have David Griffin as their general manager. It is no secret now that David Griffin really kind of has been a fraud as a GM this entire time. Don't believe me? Let's go through and look at everything that he's done as a New Orleans Pelicans general manager so far. So let's start with the fact that every single thing that we say that he did well is everything that he lucked into. For starters, he had to trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers because that's obviously where he wanted to go. He had no power, and that was obviously the situation that Anthony Davis was going to end up in. So obviously he was going to get a big haul because the Lakers really wanted to get Anthony Davis because they really wanted to start winning championships. Because when you're a franchise like the Los Angeles Lakers and you haven't won shit in a long time, it's kind of important to win something. You get to bring in the likes of Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and a plethora of picks and assets to go along with it. And alongside that, you get the opportunity to draft Zion Williamson out of Duke. Zion being one of the most touted first overall pick prospects that we've had since LeBron James. His ceiling is insane. He's like Shaq in the form of 6'8". He was in insane shape at Duke in his ability to defend, but also to run to the rim, to create offense. Every way that he affected the game, Zion Williamson looked like he was going to be the next star of the league. And the fact that New Orleans was able to get this kind of opportunity right after losing Anthony Davis was something that they couldn't say no to. The only problem is Zion injures his knee in the summer league. Zion ends up not playing until halfway through his first season, and it ultimately ends up being a loss. And the thing is that this is right around when COVID started happening as well. So really his first season was kind of a lost season. The 20 or 30 games that he was able to play, he looked absolutely solid, but never in that season did Zion really look in shape. And after that first season, David Griffin decides that it is time to fire Alvin Gentry, who's one of the winningest coaches in the history of the franchise, who was well beloved by the young core, and was someone that had garnered a lot of respect in the New Orleans franchise by everybody, apparently except David Griffin, because there were reports that he would publicly speak behind his back about Alvin Gentry, about how he didn't really respect him, how he didn't really truly believe in him. Sounds like he was just a kind of a garbage person about Alvin Gentry behind the scenes. And to replace Gentry, they bring in Stan Van Gundy. What the fuck? And don't get me wrong, I love Stan Van Gundy for the meme of who Stan Van Gundy is, but the thing is that Stan Van Gundy isn't exactly the greatest coach, especially in a rebuilding situation with younger players. Yes, Stan Van Gundy knows the game of basketball really well, but the thing that he has struggled with his entire coaching career is his ability to work with younger players, especially with his bigs, with the likes of everything that he's gone through with Dwight Howard and now with Zion Williamson, where reportedly they did not have the greatest relationship, obviously resulting in Stan Van Gundy getting fired after just one season, with that season being an absolute disaster. Now, don't get me wrong, not everything about it was bad, as Zion Williamson did have an amazing second season run. He did look absolutely dominant and showed everything that he could do and all the promise that he had. He looked to be in pretty good condition too, and he played for most of the season. Only problem is that he injures his foot and in the off season has to get surgery. And everyone thinks, okay, he'll be back at the beginning of the season, right? Wrong, but we'll get to that in a minute. The thing that we need to talk about first is how the New Orleans Pelicans completely messed up the offseason because they thought, you know what, Lonzo Ball is not going to be the point guard of the future, so we will do a sign and trade with the Chicago Bulls. Bam, Lonzo Ball is gone, which is a problem because Zion really liked playing with Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball's a really good point guard and in my opinion was one of your best defensive players that you had, so letting him go, especially after you didn't have Jrue Holiday, was something that I thought was a questionable move. But hey, what do I know? I guess I'm not as good as the New Orleans Pelicans. But anyway, on top of that, you trade away Eric Bledsoe, which you got in the Jrue Holiday deal, and you also trade away Steven Adams, who was an acquisition that you were excited about, that you thought was going to be a great pairing alongside Zion Williamson, which clearly did not prove to be a good move whatsoever. And they brought in Jonas Valanciunas, who is a solid center, however, might not be the greatest fit next to your star player, Zion Williamson. You also signed Devontae Graham from the Charlotte Hornets, which, don't get me wrong, I don't think is a bad pickup. I actually do like Devontae Graham and like his abilities as a scoring guard. I'm not sure what he could do as a playmaking guard, but I do like what he can do with scoring the ball if he can actually shoot a goddamn jump shot. Anyway, the thing that really bothers me about this is the fact that they clearly downgraded at the point guard position. They thought that they were going to be able to go get a guy like Kyle Lowry in free agency. They were banking on getting a guy like Kyle Lowry or possibly even getting Chris Paul to come back to the city of New Orleans. The problem is that they don't have a situation that really entices anybody to come back. Plus the fact that all of this leads to David Griffin not having respect in the franchise, reportedly shouldering a lot of the blame for what is happening with the Pelicans right now, and has been referred to as David Krause. Obviously being referred to as Jerry Krause, the general manager that Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls had issues with and was the cause of the downfall of the Bulls dynasty. There's some real pressure to finally start winning some games and to make a playoff appearance in New Orleans because simply this team has way too much damn talent to not be there. Something has to change, and right now a lot of the blame is going to be shouldered by David Griffin. Another huge problem with the New Orleans Pelicans is the health and the conditioning of Zion Williamson. Let's be honest, Zion Williamson does not look like the same guy that was drafted out of Duke. There was actually a photo going out there showing what Zion looked like on the first day of media day in his rookie year versus what he looked like this year. And to say that the transformation is shocking would simply be an understatement and really doesn't do it justice. It's bad. It's really bad. Now, I'm not weight shaming Zion. I'm not calling him fat. Believe me, as someone that struggles with my weight myself, I am not going to do that whatsoever. However, to say that Zion Williamson does not look like he is in game shape and is not ready to play in the NBA right now is an understatement. Zion having to wait even longer to come back from this injury that he currently is suffering from, which is not the first injury that he's had while being in the pros. To say that there should be concern for Zion's overall conditioning and his overall health is a freaking understatement. As of recording this video, the current status for Zion is that they are going to wait 2 weeks and evaluate his ankle then, and then at that point, he would still have to play 5-on-5 in practice, and he is just starting to run again. So that is where we're at with Zion, and at least he's going to be gone for at least another month or two. And Zion's injuries lead into the third final glaring problem, and that is the contract situation with Zion Williamson. With all the reports out there that it is not much of a secret that Zion Williamson does not want to be in New Orleans in the long term, with the fact that Zion's health issues are causing New Orleans to pause and reflect before they want to pay him max dollars, with the fact that the New Orleans Pelicans have already lost another star to be in a situation where they might have to give up Zion Williamson is not the situation that you want to find yourself in, especially when the New Orleans Pelicans franchise is being floated out there as potential teams to be relocated. Because after a certain period of time, with a certain period and a certain amount of generational type talent and stars that have come through the New Orleans scene and the New Orleans basketball community, it is just quite frankly frustrating to see them waste a career after a career after a career. And Zion is feeling the same way and wants to stop that before that can possibly happen. David Griffin needs to find a way to build a good relationship with Zion Williamson and his family. And on top of that, they need to find a way to get him to get some good conditioning, a good meal plan, and set to be healthy and improving and using his off seasons to get in condition and ready to play meaningful basketball, because that's what New Orleans needs if they want to keep their team, if they want to keep heading in a positive direction, and ultimately if David Griffin wants to keep his damn job. What do you think of the New Orleans Pelicans? Do you think I'm being harsh on them, or do you think the pressure is on? I would love to know what your thoughts are in the comments section down below. And that, of course, is going to do it. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time from Half Court. Be sure to subscribe.